I'm Tony Scar for BNet TV, coming to you live from the mobile internet world here in Boston, and I'm here with James Pearce, CTO of dotMobi.
Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. How have you been enjoying the conference?
It's been fantastic so far, very busy, very active, a lot of excitement in the industry right now.
dotMobi has really gained a lot of momentum in the last few years, for sure, but specifically since you got involved. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the organization and your objectives?
So dotMobi is a consortium set up by and invested in by a lot of companies from across the mobile internet industry, handset manufacturers, network operators, and so on. And we promote the use of the dotMobi domain as a top-level domain to put onto the end of a website address that will indicate that a website is built for mobile and that it's designed to work well on mobile phones.
And let's talk about the effectiveness of that. Are a lot of people moving to the dotMobi third-level domain, or is that movement to the .com still maintaining its value because of the ability for the mobile handset to surf the internet in a regular capacity?
Sure, and I think a bit of everything there. We've got companies who are setting up dotMobi addresses only because they want to really align themselves with the mobile medium. We've got people who've got existing .com sites that are using dotMobi as a way of differentiating some subset of that service or something that's focused specifically for their mobile users. And we have a lot of big, well-known brands that have gone live over the last year with dotMobi domains. Whether it's Smirnoff.mobi or 1-800-Flowers or BMW. So obviously these are companies that already have a .com presence but have used the dotMobi extension as a way of shouting to their users that there's a mobile service available. And then obviously we're there to help make the mobile web a success as a whole. So even if someone is convinced that they want to use a .com address, we still provide tools, resources, and other material that they can use to help make that successful too.
How do you persuade a small company to decide to go with a dotMobi third-level domain as opposed to just having the infrastructure or architecture to read that browser from the fingerprinting technologies that exist, saying, hey, this is a mobile phone browser, and thus we are going to give them the mobile experience?
And plenty of people do that. It's not as easy as it sounds, unfortunately, but you're right, plenty of people do that. I guess one of the issues is that the user doesn't know that that's going to happen when they go to a .com site. More often than not, going to a .com site will result in a fully fledged web page. Not that many people in reality are doing that sort of adaptation. So think of dotMobi as being a catalyst to encourage people to come on and try the mobile web. And don't worry, your phone isn't going to explode when you go to a dotMobi address. And I think in a sense it's very key to what's happening this year and next year in the mobile web. It's about getting it kick-started.
Let's talk about some standards and regulations then. What does the dotMobi experience in its standards and regulated and SRO capacity do for a small company, even a large company?
Well, we, just on the standards side, we work very closely with the W3C, which is the web standards body, and obviously has been, overseeing things like HTML since the birth of the web. And they've looked very, actively at mobile as being the next evolution of the web. So we work hard with the W3C to make sure that everything that we do and everything that we encourage is standards compliant. And that's been very core to what we do. And also because those standards are quite similar to the ones that are used in the regular web, in fact, they're identical, there's no reason why people should find it difficult to transplant whatever processes or organizational structures as well as the technologies into the mobile space.
So if a company has a website and it's a .com or a .net or whatever, and they move to a dotMobi, are we seeing a strictly dumbed-down version of the website that is easy to navigate from the mobile experience, or are you still getting that full-blown web?
Well, I would never use the word dumbed down because I think mobile is if not a peer, platform. It should be a first-class citizen.
I'll caveat within saying is that converged experience.
Sure, I think users should have a choice. Maybe they have a browser on their phone that's going to be capable of browsing the entire .com site and rendering it perfectly. And obviously, with things like the iPhone and the Nokia S60 browser, there is technology out there that is capable of delivering that experience. But really, the dotMobi domain is not just about saying, my browser knows how to handle the markup. It's about saying I'm mobile and therefore I'm looking for a particular, perhaps slightly different service than I might be off a .com site. So while this may be a little bit of a cliche, an airline.com site probably has a lot of information on it about, new flights they're launching or flatbeds or, credit card promotions or whatever they're doing. But if you went to that airline's.mobi site, you'd probably want to see just the flight arrivals or the flight departures because, you've gone to the effort of going to that site with your mobile. You're on the move, you're on the way to the airport probably. So don't tell me about the flatbeds right now. Just tell me about the flights.
You don't want to see a lot of the graphics that are involved. No, I don't want
well, it's partly the graphics, it's partly the download times, but it's also the context. You're in a different context, so you might want to see different things, a subset or a subtly different set of information. And I'm never going to ban people from going to .com sites on their phone. Why would I? But what I'm saying is that the .mobi domain is a way of indicating that you're in a particular context. In the same way that I would go to amazon.co.uk if I wanted to buy UK products instead of .com in the US. It's just my way as a user of hinting that I'm in the UK context and I want things that are relevant to where I am.
Well, one of your investors, you said, is Google.
Yes.
And Google has been a really a great pioneer, obviously, in so many ways, in not only the internet but in the mobile space as well. Now they've introduced their mobile handset. They were definitely one of the first people to allow to fingerprint these technologies, where they knew that if you were coming from a mobile phone, they were reading those IP addresses, they were fingerprinting that, they were dishing you .mobi sites. Is that something that you're continuing to work towards?
Sure, absolutely. And Google has been very supportive of us as a company. I mean, Google.mobi is one of the ways that you can navigate to their mobile services. They obviously rank sites in the search engine in terms of their keyword relevancy, but they're also looking at how mobile friendly a site is, and that it's not in their interest to send you to a site that isn't going to work well on your mobile phone if you're using their mobile search. They're obviously making big moves in mobile advertising as well, and that's very exciting for everybody, but particularly us, because that's then an economic motivation for people to go out and build sites. There's a chance that I can actually start making money from my mobile content. And so, Google, I think, is really a powerhouse in mobile, not to be underestimated. With the Android platform, that's obviously very exciting, because they're looking at the handset problem with a fresh pair of eyes, and they're obviously putting the developers first, and they're thinking about building a platform that people can create applications for, primarily, way before the handsets are actually in the shops, which is a refreshing approach.
Let's talk about the mobile internet world, the Yankee Group and Transmedia. Obviously, this is their first conference, the inaugural, and your panel, and specifically how your panel was being handled. Go ahead and give us a little bit of
in fact, panel in the plural, actually. I've done a couple of things.
Now, yeah.
So, yesterday there was a pre-conference workshop with the W3C, which obviously we're very actively involved with. That went very well organised. And then today we've had, again, more W3C activity, and I've been involved in a panel. Well, I've got a panel this afternoon, rather, and again, another panel tomorrow, and a chance to talk about the vision for the mobile web, and it's falling on the right ears. I mean, it's a very well organised conference. They've got some really top-notch speakers and thinkers here. So whilst the vision is all great, it's really starting to hit home in terms of making this stuff happen. It's been very well organised, and thrilled so far.
Well, the Yankee Group is definitely notorious for being able to garner a lot of heads of some wonderful top-tier companies, for sure, and so we're getting a chance to speak with a lot of the top-tier companies, yourself obviously included in that. Absolutely. And it's been a pleasure actually being able to speak with you and get more information about the dotMobi, and I know that I'm going to be seeing you at probably CES and CTIA
I actually think so.
coming up quite shortly. You betcha, for sure. And as I said, enjoy the rest of the conference. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you, and you.
I'm Tony Sklar here at the Mobile Internet World in Boston.